Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. So first, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank the Navy League and also several members from the Navy Marine Corps team who were instrumental to getting this set up and started, who just unfortunately can't be on stage with us. Thank you for attending Marine Corps Cybersecurity for Industry Partners. My name is Major Tyler Reed from Headquarters Marine Corps IC4, or Information Command Control Communications and Computers, which falls under the Deputy Commandant for Information, or DCI. Just very quickly, a little bit about us. So we execute the DCI functions as the Department of the Navy Deputy CIO for the Marine Corps, or the Marine Corps Senior Information Security Officer, and the Marine Corps Authorizing Official. Finally, we serve as a C4 interoperability lead for operational effectiveness in naval joint and coalition information environments. I'm a career communications officer. I've served across a range of units from light armored reconnaissance up to my current role in the headquarters of the service. And cybersecurity has been a step and a theme at every step of my career, so it's a topic that I know quite well. Although I've never served as an acquisitions officer, I have depended on products from the acquisition process regularly in everything from unit-level field exercises to operations at the tactical edge, and I have immense respect for the professionals in that space. I share the same reliance and admiration for our partners in the Defense Industrial Base, or the DIB. I rely on their products every single day to accomplish my mission. This panel will explore the nexus point between these critical areas. Cybersecurity is an important component of many conversations, but we're going to focus on its relationship to the Defense Industrial Base and then throughout the acquisitions process. While we must embrace, encourage, and at times mandate cybersecurity with our DIB partners, we recognize that this is more of a relative lift for some of the small partners and intend to work with them in every way possible, but without dismissing protective posture. Cybersecurity is, of course, a team effort, and we will not be successful as a team if we do not facilitate success everywhere that we can. Our discussion today is going to focus on some specific changes from Marine Corps Systems Command that will affect the request for proposal process when they solicit for a program from industry partners. Our discussion will also briefly consider some cybersecurity themes that are very likely to be part of the landscape in the future. And lastly, we will incorporate the small business perspective to ensure that we don't miss out on the contributions from some of our most innovative partners. Cybersecurity's importance has been on an upward trajectory since I was a second lieutenant, and frankly before that. And we intend to work with our DIB partners to maintain and improve competitive edge in a domain of warfare, and let's not forget that. Cybersecurity compliance is much more than a checklist. It's assurance that both parties have taken steps to secure critical information, and that goes both ways. Cyber partnership between the DoD and the DIB offers mutual advantage for both parties. We have an excellent panel to guide this discussion, and we'll have time for some questions from the audience at the end. I'm going to introduce our panel and then offer them the floor for opening remarks. Our first panel member is Ms. Arvise Washington. She's the Director of the Department of the Navy Office of Small Business Programs. Ms. Washington, good afternoon. The floor is yours for opening remarks.
Good afternoon, sir. Whoa, that's loud. All right, so welcome everyone, and thank you for foregoing lunch to come and see us here today. We promise it will be an amazing panel. So you heard the Major in his opening comments talk about changes coming to Marine Corps Systems Command. What you see here has been a team effort that we've been talking through over the last few months. So they aren't doing things in a silo, and that's what you'll find in the Navy and Marine Corps. Bringing resources and everyone together, those right parties, to ensure that we're doing things smartly. So thank you for that, sir. So as the Major stated, I am Arvise Washington, the Director of the Department of Navy Small Business Program. So I've been in the Small Business Office. I was their deputy since 2018 and recently appointed to Director in November. So very excited to be here with you today. My background, I come from industry, so I've worked with both large businesses and small businesses in that subcontracting in that prime role. So I experienced firsthand some of the challenges and things that you're going through and able to translate that into meaningful discussions with acquisition leaders, with meaningful discussions with you small businesses, but overall where we can come together to make change. Your Secretary of the Navy was a small business owner himself, so he sat in the chairs just like you. And cybersecurity has been very important to him. He actually lobbied for the self-certification, recognizing that things that we're doing, government putting in place, DoD, come with costs, right? And small businesses necessarily don't have that financial backing that some of the large businesses have. So how can we work together? What resources is it that we have that will help you do business with the Department of Defense? So I'm looking forward to the panel.
The next panel member is Colonel Ross Manta. He's the Chief of Staff for Marine Corps Systems Command. Sir, the floor is yours.
All right, good afternoon, everybody. It is a pleasure to be here. For those that have seen me speak before, understand that my job as an acquisition professional and the Chief of Staff at Marine Corps Systems Command is to be agnostic. So I typically open up with saying I hate all of you equally. But I say that, in jest, but it is true, right? I want each of you to bring the best product possible to the Marine Corps, and I will judge you all equally harsh. That is my job as a program manager in acquisition. I'm not a PM anymore. I'm now the Chief of Staff. My history is I was an artillery officer many, many years ago. I transitioned to the acquisition about 18 years ago. I did enterprise IT. I have done combat arms, back to tactical IT, and now the Chief of Staff. So I have a pretty broad history in acquisition. I have made major contracts with the big vendors and small business alike, and both of you bring different capabilities to the table, and we never want to increase the barrier to entry. However, the topic today is about making sure that what we do is secure, brings the best product possible, and we keep the data and information safe so that our advantage over the enemy is sustained and maintained. They don't have easy access to our capabilities. Again, I really look forward to this panel and working with Ms. Washington in the future as well to ensure those barriers to entries are minimized, because small business does bring great capabilities to the table that we haven't seen yet. So that's my opening comments. Thanks.
Thank you, sir. Ma'am, the first question is for you. So navigating cybersecurity can be exceedingly difficult for small businesses because it takes expertise that may be hard to develop, expensive, or some combination of both. How do you help small businesses deal with complex cybersecurity requirements?
So what I first want to say, good afternoon to the familiar faces that I see in the room. And the new faces, I'm looking forward to building those relationships and partnerships with you. So in looking at the CMMC cybersecurity requirements, very complex, 23,000 pages of documents out there. My team, very small team, there are 10 individuals that work in my office. However, across the Department of the Navy, we are 190 strong. Utilizing those small business professionals at the 10 major buying activities and their subcommands will be a big help for you, helping to navigate those resources that we have available. Department of Defense, if you haven't connected with the Apex Accelerator, so how many of you know about your Apex Accelerator? If you have not connected with them, that is a great resource for you. That is a program that has been funded by Department of Defense. That's a program that in collaboration with the local leaders, government leaders at different level state agencies, I think there are a little less than 100 across the country. Connect with your Apex Accelerator. Last year, the SBIR office, and I'm going to ask Mr. Brian Shipley just to raise his hand so everyone knows who Brian Shipley is. Brian Shipley works out of our SBIR office as the commercialization manager there. Brian Shipley and his team brought over a program called Blue Cyber that the Air Force led and then was instituted across DoD. Under that Blue Cyber program, we had a representative, Kelly Kiernan, who went around the country, and she's still partnering with us, to go and educate industry about these CMMC cyber requirements. It's a free resource for you, okay? So make sure that you take advantage of that. Everybody familiar with the Navy Weeks? So we have about 10 or 12 cities across the country where we go out and support. we bring Kelly, we offer for her to come to these Navy Weeks to educate you, small businesses and industry, about the CMMC requirements. Last month, DoD released the Defense Industrial Base Cybersecurity Strategy. Have you had a chance to take a look at that? Look at what those requirements are there. What's the strategy going forward across DoD? And then individually within each of the components, we have resources available for you. So leveraging your small business team, we're focusing on Marine Corps Systems Command. So I see the Marine Corps Systems Command Small Business Director, Ms. Beauclair. Raise your hand high. So they know who to come and talk to. You should be exchanging business cards with her because she is going to be the resource for you. She doesn't have the answer. She has reached back to my office. If I don't have the answer, I have reached back to OSD. So a lot of resources out there for you. We're here to support you in that.
Thank you, ma'am. Next question is for Colonel Manta. Will you please describe the new requirements that Marcor Syscom will implement in the request for proposal stage? And although this is a narrow change, how do you plan to ensure that some of our smaller partners don't miss out on competition?
So thanks for that question. So we recently signed out a new Marine Corps Systems Command order for how we're going to be putting our RFPs out and protecting our data that we are requesting you to bid against. So the RFPs will remain unclassified and they'll be out there for you to get to. What will be a little bit more difficult, but not much, is getting that technical data package to bid against. You're going to have to contact the contract specialist or the contracting officer, verify your cage code, and then we will send that information along so that you have the detailed information to bid against. It may seem like another bureaucratic step. However, you know, especially for you small businesses, until the day we give you a contract, you're not that interesting to the enemy. But the day you get it, you become very interesting. And this one small step makes it a little bit more difficult for our adversaries to collect our technical data. They don't just have to go to FedBizOps and scrape it. They now at least have to get after somebody else to get to our information. So it's a small step. What are we doing to try to make sure that we're not limiting the barrier or increasing the barriers to entry? We're working with our small business office, and they are getting out there and talking to new people that have innovative ideas and they want to do business with us, talking to you about how do you get a cage code? How do you get that security level? How do you get to the point where we're not only talking to you about how innovative and great you are, but we're talking to you about how you're going to be able to do business with us and protect that critical information that we need you to fight on and bid on and get to us so that we can move forward. It's not a great answer about extra work that we're doing for you, but we do have an office that is dedicated to getting you where you need to be. We are at Systems Command, all the program managers, I talk to most of them frequently. We want small business to come in and talk to us. We don't want to increase that barrier to entry, but we have to protect the data. Because if not, like I said in my opening comments, if the enemy has access to it, we're not even fighting anymore. They're going to overcome us before we ever start the fight. So we're asking you to help us and make sure we get that secure data out there. Thank
you, sir. Ms. Washington, next question's for you. So I'm familiar with some cyber resources for not just the small partners, but for all of the DIB partners, namely the DIB Cybersecurity Program from the DoD CIO's office, and we have the NSA Cybersecurity Collaboration Center. I recently learned about Project Spectrum specifically from your office. So just a quick question about that. How can we leverage Project Spectrum to help small businesses get DoD contracts?
So first, I'd like to do my shameless plug for the Mentor Protege program. Are you all familiar with the Mentor Protege program? Anyone? All right. So under the Mentor Protege program, actually, the Department of Navy's Mentor Protege program manager just walked in the room, Ms. Mercedes Thurston. So if you are interested in a Mentor Protege agreement, she's back here in the yellow shirt. You can't miss her. We have, under the Mentor Protege program, an opportunity for small businesses to get something poured into them to what I call get prime ready. So if you have, whether they're industrial-based challenges, things that within your program, within your company, that you just need a little something from a mentor to get you ready so that you can go off and compete for prime contracts. That Mentor-Protege program is something for you to consider. Under that program, so we are Department of the Navy, we do things a little differently. We like to tie our Mentor-Protege agreements to programs of record. Where is it that we have industrial-based gaps? So I always have my water bottle with me as a prop. So Department of Navy Program Office X is responsible for designing and building this water bottle, and you, small business, have that next innovative water bottle cap, but you aren't prime ready. So we can issue a Mentor-Protege agreement for the prime contractor that's responsible for delivering this water bottle capability to the Department of the Navy, so that there will be deliberate tasking that we will have in that Mentor-Protege agreement that will help get you prime ready. Under that Mentor-Protege agreement, we also have the opportunity for a DoD-led initiative called Project Spectrum. And under Project Spectrum, it's a contracting organization that DoD requires, meets with these small businesses, helps them get through the CMMC checklist for doing their self-certification, and gets them the results that they need so that they can go off and compete on DoD contracts. Utilizing, so I'll turn back to Apex Accelerator. If you don't take anything away from me today, take away, you want to go and meet with your Apex Accelerator, because they are going to get you ready to do business with Department of Defense and the federal government overall.
Thank you, ma'am. Next question is for Colonel Manta. So we're going to stick with this theme of resources for some of our smaller partners. Does Marcor Syscom offer any guidance, resources, or expertise for some of our smaller business partners? And this is specifically in the lane of cybersecurity.
Well, unfortunately, the biggest thing we offer is Miss Beauclair and her guidance. The best thing, though, about today is starting the conversation. Somebody before the panel asked me about what am I doing to help small businesses? And my response was, today's the start of the conversation. We always know that cybersecurity is a big deal, and we have focused on the systems and the applications that we field, right? And to my comments earlier, it's not only about what we field and its ability to maintain its security once fielded, it's your system at your company. Can I transmit something to you securely, and then can you keep it secure? This is the start of that conversation, especially for our small business partners, right? Where is your cybersecurity of your infrastructure? Is there a way that we can help you with that? Is there a way you can ride our network? Is it your network? Do you need to partner with another company? We don't have a lot of resources right now, Tyler, but it's the start of the conversation. And we as the government, and Ms. White, I don't mean to speak for you, but we want to hear your challenges. Yes. We want to hear what it's going to take for you to get to the level of security that we need you at, right? Because this is not about us feeling comfortable sitting on a stage, right? And I always take it back here. This is about a Marine at the tactical edge, fighting for his life, for our country, and him coming home safe to his family. And if our systems are compromised and our data is compromised, that becomes a lot more difficult of a problem set. So your security of your systems and our data, whether we gave it to you or you produced it on our behalf for a system, that security is paramount. And that is the start of this conversation today. And that's why I think this is so important. I don't got the resources for you. Ms. Beauclair, please help them find a way to get there and be listening. Use me as your chief of staff to voice that across the DoD. But that's what we're looking for, and we're looking for your feedback on what you need to get there. Thanks.
Do we have any questions from the audience? All right. If you do, there are microphones here. You can just walk up to the microphone.
So we're going to continue this with a couple of questions. And again, for the audience, if you have any questions at all, please go up to one of the mics and we'll get you as soon as that current question is done. Ms. Washington, the next question is for you. So thank you for the insight on Project Spectrum. But what other programs can help small businesses provide their services to the DoD?
Absolutely. Have you heard of the Small Business Technology Transfer or Small Business Innovative Research Office? Everybody heard of SBIR, STTR? You guys must need to eat or get some caffeine or something. You got to play along. nod your head or something. So the SBIR office and STTR office do not fall under the Small Business Programs Office. So a lot of times when you hear small business innovative research, small business technology transfer, you think it's aligned under the Department of Navy Small Business Office. But in fact, they're aligned under our Office of Naval Research for that research and development engineering type work that they're doing under that program. But our offices are aligned. I'm talking on a daily basis to Mr. Robert Smith, the director there, and his deputy, Mr. Brian Shipley. So the STTR office program offers opportunities for your solution to be tried out with Navy capability, Navy and Marine Corps, capability there. When we say, so you'll hear all throughout this, these next few days, the Department of the Navy, and when we say Department of the Navy, we're referring to the Navy and the Marine Corps. Don't lose sight of the Marine Corps when you're looking at doing business with the Department of the Navy. But under this STTR program, there's funding there, DoD funding, that you can utilize to help you further your capability. So if you've got questions about that, Brian is here to support you. And then also the Office of Naval Research has a small business booth. They're at their large booth when you go to the Great Halls downstairs.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Colonel Manta, we're gonna go to you for the next question. So cybersecurity's importance is only gonna grow in the coming years. What impacts do you anticipate in Marine Corps' acquisitions to adjust to this growth?
So what I'm hoping doesn't happen is it slows us down, right? So as we go down this path and mandates come in, typically grading somebody else's homework and additional bureaucracy slows us down. I'm hoping that doesn't happen because that's just one more thing I have to evaluate on a source selection is whether your cybersecurity is good enough. But I'm hoping that this conversation starts as we start getting to these mandates, is that when you come to the table and you put your solicitation in, you have either used one of these self-certifications that we hope comes along, or you have gone out and actually got the certification through the CMMC as it comes out. So that is an easy check for us to know that you have met the requirement. As we look at this, though, I think it's going to be one of those things that we have to talk about when we're talking with our RFIs and our RFPs on the street, and when we engage with industry, is to talk more about the cybersecurity of the companies, not just the system that we're trying to produce. Those that have worked with the DoD know that cybersecurity of our systems has been paramount, draining, teeth pulling, and there's a whole cottage industry to do cybersecurity for us out there. What I'm hoping is we don't reinvent that in the acquisition community as a cottage industry to manage your cybersecurity, because that's just going to increase the dollar value per end item for Marines. And again, I want it cheaper, faster, and better, but I know I don't get that, right? Because I'm a Marine, that's what we want. Tell us what it's going to take, and I think that's going to be the impact that we have is there is going to be an increase in time and cost to what we field as we levy more mandates on our industry partners. So again, I'm looking for Ms. Washington and the group up there, DoD, to help us figure out how to mitigate that with small business and large business, because even if they're doing it right now, and now I mandate it, I get that lovely pass-through from them now that they can pass it through. So again, that's what I see coming down is a price change for our capabilities as we put them out there.
Thank you, sir. So next question is going to be for both. I'll ask it to Ms. Washington first. So what can a business, and this could be a large or small business, but what can they do to best set themselves up for business with the Marine Corps or the Department of the Navy as a whole?
Utilizing those resources. So I like to advertise it as what? PPR, persistence, patience, and research, right? That's what it's going to take for you to tap into doing business. How many of you currently have contracts with the Marine Corps or the Navy? Okay, that's a very small subset. So many of you are looking to grow in that space. It's going to take persistence, patience, and research. understanding, utilizing opportunities like this to talk to leadership, to understand what changes they're making and why they're making this change. How is it you need to readjust your entry point, your segue into doing business with that organization to ensure that you're in alignment with their strategic priorities? Do you know what the commandant's priorities are? How do you fit in, right? So utilizing resources that we have available to help you with that research. Utilizing the Defense Acquisition University, so that's what we acquisition professionals use in order for us to maintain current on our education learning credits. There are opportunities there, free resources there for you, industry, to understand the requirements that we're putting out and how you can leverage them. We also have the Apex Accelerator, as I mentioned, the Blue Cyber program, as I mentioned, the other resources that you talked about, sir, with the Cybersecurity Infrastructure and Security Agency, as well as the recently signed Defense Industrial Base Strategy. But then also they do have a cybersecurity portal there. Have you visited that? What tools and resources do they have there? So making sure that you take advantage of all the things that we have readily available. My team, my public affairs officer team, they put out a weekly email blast, all things small business. So when the rulemaking came about for CMMC, that was something that we shared. When organizations are hosting industry days, or with Modern Day Marine coming up at the end of the month, things that we are doing across the Department of the Navy, connecting with us so that you're aware what we are, where we're engaging, and then where you can engage too, because that's how you're going to learn about how to do business with our organization.
Ma'am, very, very quick follow-up to that. So the weekly email that you referenced, how does any business get on the to line of that one?
How did they get sick? Raise your hand, Destiny and Amber, both of you. Raise your hands. So these two ladies right here, I told you we are a very small team. These two ladies right here do all things small business, this weekly email blast. On the home page of our website, there's a Connect With Us button. Click on that Connect With Us button and you just put your information in and you'll be included in our weekly email. In addition to that, we also have other resources. We host the Ask Me Anything. If there's a webinar that you're saying, hey, I need more information on what Marine Corps Systems Command is doing, we will organize a webinar. You can send your questions in ahead of time, and we'll host a webinar specifically on what things you're looking to get answered. Okay? If you're having trouble connecting with a small business professional at a specific organization, I know there's one young lady here and she was frantic. How do I get in touch? This procurement's coming out. How do I get in touch with the right person? Because I view with concern. And it's utilizing these small business professionals to help you do business with the Department of the Navy.
Thank you, ma'am. Colonel Manta, it's been a minute since I asked that question, so I'm going to read it back to you. What can a business, large or small, do to best set themselves up for business, and in your case, specifically with the Marine Corps?
So I'll go back to a comment you made. If you don't know what the commandant thinks, you're probably not shooting on the right target, right? And so we had Force Design 2030, then the Force Design Update, then we had the current commandant's white letter, and he's recently released another Frago on that order. If you haven't read those, you're not probably trying to understand us as much as you should, right? So with the Marine Corps, again, I kind of joked about it. We want it faster, cheaper, and better every day. But that's not reality, right? So as a PM, I've always used the mantra, especially with industry, of honest, holistic, and outcome focused. Right? You and your BD guys can come in every day and tell me a great story. You can go talk to the 3 stars and pitch the most wonderful thing on the planet. And all you do is make my life just a tad bit harder. Because then I got to dispel everything you said to them and get it down to brass tacks about how usable is it at the tactical edge, or on the NMCI for the Navy side, and how does that connect over to the Marine Corps, right? One of the big things that we're focusing on right now is naval capabilities. right? Everybody's heard about kill webs, kill chains, all those other things. The only way to do that is JADC2, and for the Navy and the Marine Corps team, it's naval capability. That doesn't mean Navy, and it doesn't mean Marine Corps. Those two entities run completely different, but we do have to join somewhere. We are complementary, but if you're not trying to figure out the disparities between the two and how to connect that, you're probably not in the right area either if you're in the IT world or even in the kinetic world, because our systems, most of them that we're talking about in any area, are not line of sight munitions, right? We've got something that we fight like that, but the majority of our significant capability isn't line of sight. Like I said, I'm an old artilleryman. Shoot, move, communicate. If I can't see it, how can I shoot it? Somebody's got to see it. So again, that naval capability to be able to reach back as far as I can to capabilities to deliver them where I need them, when I need them, and why I need them. These are critical things. So if you're not paying attention to that, you're not quite ready to do business with us. Now we do have opportunities, right? Modern day Marine was brought up. That'll be where a lot of systems command is present. We're walking around. We'll be briefing a lot of that at the end of the month. Our PMs will be available. We do have industry days that our contracting shop puts on monthly, where you can come and hear the things that will be coming out as RFIs, RFPs. And then our small business team does reach out. How is that monthly as well, I believe? Or oh, all right. So twice a week, you can talk to our small business folks about what's coming out. Bad on me, Chief of Staff, not knowing that. But we do want to hear from you, and we do want to reach out. And if you're interested, more than enough people want to tell you what we have coming, because competition just helps us and our Marines.
Sir, just a quick follow-up. For those twice weekly meetings, can you explain how any business would get added to those?
I would say
You
reach
gonna
out
phone
to
a friend?
Yeah, I'm going to phone a friend on that one,
ma'am.
folks.
Can you go to the mic?
I'm sorry. You can just email myself, Sharita Beauclair, or Carl Bryant. You can stop by booth number 342. You can get our email addresses there. So if you send me a copy of your email, of your capabilities brief, I will see that you can provide a service or a product that is useful to the Marine Corps. And then we just basically set up a team's capabilities brief with you. Usually about 30 minutes. We're meeting with contractors on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Right now, I'm out until like the mid part of May. It's just myself and Carl. But I'll definitely get to you all if you just want to call me and have a conversation with me. I mean, I've talked to some of you already, I'm certain, and I've talked to many of you at different conferences. No, I'm here to help you. I'm here to help in a lot of ways. I know we talk about RFI responses and just a variety of things to help you get connected with the Marine Corps and possibly win some contracts. So I'm here to help. Thanks.
So what I'll add to that, when you get an opportunity to present your capabilities brief, utilize that 30 minutes wisely. So when you go to the doctor, you don't just go to say, hi, Colonel, I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm Arvis Washington. I just wanted to come in and say hi, right? And you pay that $40 or whatever your copay is and you leave. No, you're going in there because your elbow hurts. So I go back to the research piece, right? You've researched, you've looked at their acquisitions. Where is it that you fit in? What is it that you're interested in? So that when you get with Ms. Beauclair, right, you've looked at how your technology, your solution fits with this capability. Because you know what Ms. Beauclair is going to do? She's going to say, you know what, this is good. I'm going to take this over to the program manager and potentially get you an opportunity to meet with that deputy program manager or that acquisition manager in that office. So when you're going in, mind you, you heard her, she's all the way out through the middle of May, right? She's got that many individuals, companies looking to do business with the Marine Corps. Help her help you. So identify what opportunities you're looking to go after when you go in. Utilize that 30 minutes wisely and look for the follow-on from that. Before that, it'll be okay, and you'll go in the stack. We've heard your capabilities. And then if something comes up, mind you, she's got 50 companies she might have met with in the last 2 weeks. What's making your company stand out? And it's going to be that research piece, helping her understand where you fit in within their organization. But then also, where you're having challenges. right? So if you see the opportunities, the changes that they're making within Marine Corps, that unintended consequences for industry, which is why they're here talking to you now, share that with them, because we don't know, what is it? We're one step away from the best acquisition that we could have, right? It's an amendment, one amendment away. So you got to communicate with them and utilize and leveraging the small business professionals, not just Ms. Beauclair, but we also have Marine Corps INL. If you're interested in doing business with them, Mr. Carlton Higgins is in the room as well. So full presence here. We're committed, Department of Navy wide, to this program.
Thank you, ma'am. So folks, I'm going to throw out a last call for questions here. I do have one more question for the panel. It's a bit of a long-winded one, and it's for both. First part's for Colonel Manta. So, and preambles for both. So we know that the DoD Chief Information Officer is developing and will implement the Cybersecurity Maturity Model 2.0 program. Rollout unknown, probably in the near future. And then we do know, based off of some of the newer things that they've communicated, that there will probably be a transition period of a few years. So for Colonel Manta, do you expect this to change MARCOR Syscom's relationship with the DIB? If so, how? And then is MARCOR Syscom doing anything in anticipation of CMMC 2.0?
So we're trying to look at the language that's being drafted for that to make sure that we're prepared. In the short term, you'll probably see it added into the RFPs as T's and C's, right? So we'll be paying attention to it until we understand how it's going to be fully rolled out. What we would ask is, kind of to the point, industry, tell us what that's going to do to us, right? Like I said, cheaper, faster, better, right? We know that every T and C takes away from cheaper, takes away from faster, may add to better. So please tell us what it's going to take, because right now, again, we don't know the second and third order effects to you increasing your cybersecurity stance, right? We understand what it's done to our programs and our systems, so I got a rough idea, but I don't have a solid idea of what that's going to take. So Systems Command is looking at it. We're trying to figure out what those second and third order effects are. We want to make sure that we're talking to industry more often about this, because it was just an assumption in the past. Your stuff is secure. We know that's probably a bad assumption, right? And not intentionally by you, but probably a bad assumption because we haven't checked. You expect what you inspect in the Marine Corps. We haven't inspected you. So we're going to probably have to figure out a way to come out and either inspect or validate what you're stating to us to move forward, which will increase our workload and our manpower requirements and our demand for using up resources that we want to get after assets with, not bureaucracy. So I think that's kind of how it's going to affect us. And we're looking for the feedback and the critical information from industry as we move forward.
Thank you, sir. So, ma'am, same opening statement about CMMC 2.0. How does the Don Office of Small Business Programs plan to support small businesses during this transition? Because we do think it's a fairly significant sea change.
It is a fairly significant change, and we are here for you. So utilizing opportunities like this, engagements where you get the opportunity to talk with leadership, expressing your concerns, expressing areas where you are challenged so that we can help connect you with the right individuals within Department of Defense to help, number one, try to break down some of those barriers, or at least help you smoothly cross the path. The other thing you're going to do is utilizing, I keep stressing it, the Apex accelerators. That's their mission. Look who your local Apex accelerators are. And if you aren't getting the response that you need, then that's when you're contacting us, because then we have the entry with the Department of Defense, who oversees that Apex Accelerator program. So you exchange business cards, visit us all at the booths downstairs to get our contact information, connecting with us. You've got to stay connected. So, and then the last thing I'll pitch is the Project Spectrum. Project Spectrum is here to support you. If it's not working out, if you're not getting the response that you need from them, then you're coming to my office. We're going directly to DOD to say, hey, I view with concern in these areas, but that communication needs to come back around from industry to us. All right?
And ma'am, can you please share your booth numbers with the room?
I cannot. What's our booth number? 1047. That's the power team back there. Thank you for foregoing lunch to come and support me.
All right, folks. So it looks like we're gonna end a little early, and I hear there's a celestial event today. Colonel Manta, I'm going to offer you the floor if you want to make any closing comments.
I just want to thank everybody for coming again, foregoing lunch, or you're going to get lunch here shortly. I think it's important that we engage with industry, that you all hear from us what our expectations are from you, that you really take it seriously, that we want to work with you. I know the Marine Corps is a very difficult partner sometimes, and we're very difficult to get in the door with. Please be persistent. We need better capabilities for Marines, right? If you have trouble getting in the door, our PAO is here, our small business is here. Go down to the booth, and at worst case, email is about the simplest thing in the Marine Corps, first name dot last name @usmc.mil. Don't overuse it, but you can get to me pretty dang quick, and I'll get you to the right place. All right, thank you so much for coming in and listening and entertaining us, or we entertained you, one of the two. All right, thank you.
It can go run. So just utilizing our office, the small business office. We've got the SBIR office. Brian Shipley here, so if you want to talk to him about STTR, he's here to support that. You've got small business professionals that are here in the room, but also at the booths. Come and check them out. Ms. Beauclair, and then also Mr. Hagens. Raise your hand, Carlton. He's Marine Corps INL, so if you're interested in doing business with the INL. We've got Naval Sea Systems Command is here. Ann Bannister, raise your hand. Oh, and Stacy, hi, ma'am. So good to see everyone. Thank you all. Connect with us, and look forward to doing good things with you in the future. Have a good one.
Thank you, folks.